Hey everybody, it's Dr. West here. We're going to wait a couple minutes and let people hop on to the webinar before we get started. Hope everybody's having a fantastic week. Oh, good. Alright, well we're going to get started. So, hi everybody, I'm Dr. West. I am a prenatal and pediatric chiropractor located in Clarendon Hills, Illinois. I'm super excited that everybody's here today because we're going to be going over a ton of information and a ton of information parents that you need in order to live the best and most healthy lives you possibly can. Oftentimes when I introduce myself and I say I'm a pediatric chiropractor, I often get questions like, wait, what? How does that work? Who would take their kids to see a chiropractor? Is it even safe? These are common questions we get all the time in practice and out in the community when we're meeting people. And tonight we're going to be going over just that. I'm also going to be going over what to expect when you come into a pediatric chiropractor's office, especially our office. Parents, I know that you research everything when it comes to bringing that new bundle of joy wherever you go. You research who they are, where they're from, and if they're a good fit for you. So tonight we're going to be going over some of that so you can feel a little bit more comfortable bringing your kids into our office. And the reason why we want to go over all those expectations is because parents, we understand that that bundle of joy, everything that you're putting into it, they're your everything. They're anything you've ever loved your entire life is that human being. And that's something Dr. Lauren and myself really, really respect. It's something that we do not take lightly, that is your baby, and we want just to help. And we're so blessed to be able to cherish those times that we are able to spend with your kids to make sure they're down that path towards potential instead of always trying to reflect and combat the stress that they're living in their lives. So, with that said, we're going to jump on and get into the top 3 reasons on why parents are bringing their kids to see us here in our office. The first is going to be nursing issues. Now, this is going to include reflux, weight gain, and latching issues. These are all things chiropractic care can help with infants. And when I'm talking about infants and babies and newborns, I'm staying more so underneath that year age. Now, people often ask me why or how does a baby with reflux get better and how does that help with chiropractic care? The main reason is because we're working with the nervous system. I covered this in a video I did last week because the nervous system is how we receive and coordinate all functions of our life and how we live our life. Everything we perceive, all the stress we perceive goes through our brain, which is inputted through all the nerves and through the spinal cord. So, when we're dealing with stress, and parents, you know this, especially moms, you especially know what it's like to deal with stress, your whole body and your physiology will change. So if a bear comes in this room right now and pops its head through that window, I'm going to freak out. My pressure's going to elevate, heart rate's going to go up, all the blood's going to go from my internal organs, or not all of it, but most of it, and into my muscles so I can either run or fight that bear. Now, whether it's a bear walking into that room or it's the boss walking down the hallway at work that you're going to get reprimanded for, you're going to have that same amount of stress. And your body's going to perceive that stress in the same way. Now, as adults, we can adapt and process that information a little bit better. When it comes to kids, they don't have as many options for that. And oftentimes they get stuck in this go, this stress mode, and their systems and the way that they function goes in a little bit of haywire, which results in decreased function with their stomach. So with kids with reflux, we often see they have a ton of tension and stress in their upper back, which all the nerves that control the digestive glands for your esophagus and your stomach come from that area. And so they have a ton of dysfunction in that area as well because of that stress and that tension. But when we have that stress and tension in the nervous system, it's also going to affect the way that babies will latch, especially during breastfeeding. Because of that tension, they're going to have inabilities to turn their head properly. So moms, I'm sure you've realized that sometimes when you have a newborn baby, they may favor one breast or the other when it comes to feedings. And that's because they can't properly turn their head the whole way because they have a strain or something that happened during the birth process in their upper cervical spine. And that's something that we take care of and we're experts at taking care of. And when you think about nursing for an infant, a couple days old, is very complex because they have to coordinate where to latch onto, they have to hold on to that area, and they have to continuously suck and create that suction. There's a lot going on there. And so if they're having stress in their brain, the nervous system, and they're not able to properly be in that rest and digest mode, part of their nervous system, they're not going to be primed for feedings. They're going to be primed for go, go, go. I have to survive. There's a bear in the room. Now I want to tell you a story about a mom and kiddo that we saw here in the office. Their names are Ellie and Jackson. Ellie came to us when she was pregnant, about 6 months, and came to us just to have the best delivery possible. Now Dr. Lauren is our expert here when it comes to prenatal chiropractic care, and a couple weeks ago she did a video on the benefits of prenatal chiropractic care. So I highly recommend anyone to watch that video just to see and learn a little bit more about that. But after Jackson was born, he was having some issues with reflux. Now, Ellie is a mom of 3 kids, and so she knew when there was something either weird or something wrong going on with one of her kids, especially with breastfeeding, since she had nursed the other 3. And after we saw Jackson a couple of visits, he was starting to nurse better and better. And she later told us, after that first adjustment, she was able to have the best nursing session for that 2-week lifespan and relationship that her and Jackson had, which to me is so freaking powerful. I love this stuff, and I love seeing these kids because we can really set the path towards that potential and make sure that they're developing the way that they're supposed to. And with kids, it's so much easier. Their system isn't compensating for all that stress that they've had to deal with through life and the birth process. And so we can make the effects so much more grand and so much quicker. So the second reason why we see kids here in the office is more so a phrase that we hear all the time. And we hear it from parents. And that is, they just seem uncomfortable. He or she just seems uncomfortable. They can't seem to sit still. They can't seem to just relax like a normal baby. And when I hear that, I hear stress, I hear tension. Now these babies, what they'll do is they'll clench their hands real close, and you can tell if they're dealing with a lot of stress and tension, because they'll clench their hands, they'll be really rigid. And something that we hear all the time from moms is that when they come out of the womb and they're born, they'll bring their head and hold their head straight up. And oftentimes the delivery nurses, they'll say, "Oh, look how strong he is." And in my brain, what I'm seeing, oh my gosh, that baby has a ton of stress and a ton of tension. We have to get that taken care of because it'll lead towards these issues, towards reflux and colic and latching issues if it's not corrected. But moms, you're the smartest ones here. You know exactly what's going on. Now, the relationship between mom and baby is so special. I'm sorry, dads, but they have a special connection. And so what we like to call it is mom gut. Mom, you know when a baby is uncomfortable. You know when they're not sleeping right. You know when there's just something off. And that's when we usually see them, is because mom senses something with mom gut. Now, I want to tell you a story about Declan. Declan, when we first started seeing him, he was about 6 weeks old. His mom and dad, when we were talking with him, was constantly telling us, he just seems uncomfortable. He just seems uncomfortable. And so what we noticed with Declan is that he was that nice flopsy baby. All babies, when they first come out, are supposed to be flopsy. They're not supposed to be rigid. They're supposed to be squishy, if you want to go there. But they're supposed to be able to be moving around and not in that clenched up protective stance. With Declan, he was that flopsy baby when you would hold him and coddle him. But if you put him down in any way and he wasn't touching mom or anyone else, he would get super rigid, especially with tummy time, and he would arch his back. Now with him, he was also not sleeping very well. He was sleeping maybe 20 minutes for a nap, and he was off and on throughout the night. What we noticed after the first couple of adjustments with him is that his nap started to extend longer and longer to up to an hour, which is fantastic for mom and dad because you guys can get some stuff around the house done. And you could even take a nap while they're napping as well. And with him, it was so amazing because it was so fast. Like I said, the results we get with kids are so quick. It's so freaking cool. I can't express that enough. But making sure we see these kids and we get them checked for that stress is super important, so that way they don't lead down that path towards constantly dealing with that stress. The third reason why we see kids is poop. So we see kids for digestive problems and gas pains. Now, the way the nervous system is wired is there's two pedals. There's the brake pedal, which is going to be the rest and digest, which is how we grow, this the area that stimulates all of that. Then there's going to be the gas pedal. The gas pedal is going to be that go, go, go. The bear's in the window. We got to get out of here. And oftentimes when you get stuck on that, you have issues with going to the bathroom. Now, when it comes to bowel movements, whether you're 14, 4 months old, or 4 days old, you should be going daily, if not multiple times a day. Some pediatricians will say that breastfed babies, it's common for them to go 1, 3, or 7 days without a bowel movement. I would agree that it's common. I would disagree that it is normal. You should be going with ease and consistency every single day. And so should these kids. If they're not, their nervous system is wired and they're going haywire in that sympathetic, that gas pedal go, go, go mode. And what chiropractic does is we bring ease to the system. So we stimulate that parasympathetic brake pedal model so that way they can go to the bathroom. They can calm down and deal with the stress and grow the way they're supposed to grow. Now, I'm going to share something else with you guys. My favorite passion and my favorite reason for seeing kids is for prevention. I love taking care of these kids that are dealing with all these issues. But my real passion comes from checking kids right when they're born. Because when you check them right when you're born, you can set them up on that roadmap for success and down that path of potential. I want to create an opportunity to make sure these kids are checked right off the bat. And I'm not saying adjust them right away. There's a way of analysis to see if they even need an adjustment, see if they're dealing with a ton of that stress that's leading towards some of these issues that I'm talking about. And if you can get there before that mom gut flashes and goes off, then you can really take care of the problem before it becomes a problem, which makes parents, your lives, that much easier. Now, I want to share a study with you, and it's based on KISS syndrome. That's K-I-S-S, and it stands for kinematic imbalance for suboccipital, upper cervical strain. Birth is a beautiful process, but it's also very traumatic. It can be traumatic for mom and baby. And not to mention the interventions that are used, forceps, vacuum delivery, it causes a lot of stress. One of the most common ones we see is C-section. About 1/3 of babies in the United States is born via C-section. And this is a massive surgery for mom. And whatever is affecting mom is going to be affecting baby. Now, the study that I'm talking about based on KISS syndrome is that it was conducted on normal vaginal delivery births. And what they found is that 8 out of 10 kids that were born vaginally still had that upper cervical strain. And that upper cervical strain is the stress on their nervous system. Now, what that means is 8 out of 10 kids that were born normal through a vaginal delivery had an upper cervical stress, which is going to lead towards nursing issues, digestive issues, and just being generally uncomfortable, which nobody wants to deal with. Now, when we're able to see these kids early and get them checked, we can put them on that path towards development so they don't have to deal with all that stuff. So you parents don't have to deal with it in the future as well. Now, you're probably wondering what can cause this stress in these newborns besides birth. And there's 3 main things that we see, another top 3, that we see that causes the stress. The first is going to be birth, and that's going to be the number 1. It'll always be number 1. The second is going to be a stressful pregnancy. There's a lot of new research that's coming out about how the stress that the mom is under, the baby is under as well. And the effects of the metabolism, the way that baby develops and responds to stress later on in life is huge. It's massive. It's massive, massive, massive. Now, the third is going to be fertility issues. So conception is a big part of this, because if mom is stressed out and isn't in that parasympathetic, that brake pedal mode, she's not going to be able to conceive. And then the baby and sperm isn't going to be as viable and is going to set that path and that baby development down this long road of issues. But like I said, the birth process is number 1. So I want to go quickly in fun fact, I want you to guess how old or how young I've adjusted a kid. A day, a week. The youngest I've adjusted was an 8-hour-old infant. And like I said, when you are able to check these kids early on in life, and very early on in life, you can set them down the path of wellness. Oh, sorry, I lost it there for a second. Now, to go over what to expect when you come into our office. So to get a hold of us, you can either email us at office@rootandbloomchiro.com, or you can call us at 630-537-1781. And what we'll do is we'll get you on the schedule, and after that we will email you some paperwork to fill out. The reason why we email you paperwork to fill out before your appointment is we want to make sure that you're putting the information in, and that way we're asking the right questions when you come in, and we're respecting your time and making the most out of the time that we have you here in the office. Now, when you come in, we're going to sit down in these chairs actually, and we will go in depth on the baby's history. So we'll talk about how the pregnancy was, how delivery was, and how and what is going on with baby now. Next, we will do the neurological scans. So, these scans are so safe that we use them for pregnancy, for pregnant parents, and for infants up to a day old. And that's why we have them in our office. The reason why we use them is because they can tell us where that KISS syndrome is, that area of stress and tension, and we can locate, see how bad it is, and we can then see how we can help these kids. After that, we'll sit down with parents and explain if and how chiropractic can help. And usually this is the big aha moment for parents. We often hear, wow, I never knew that this was possible. Nobody ever told me about this. That is something we hear all the time here in the office. And that'll be it for the first visit. On the second visit, we'll sit down and we'll go over the scans and any information that you need to know as parents. On that second visit also, we'll go over the most important thing, adjusting the baby. So I'm going to go over what an infant adjustment looks like. I like to explain it in 3 words: simple, gentle, and specific. So like I said, we don't take anything lightly when it comes to seeing newborns. We completely understand and completely respect that it can be scary, and especially to hand off your bundle of joy, your everything, to somebody that you don't know 100%. And that's why I want to talk about this and explain what we do and why we're different. When we're adjusting kids, we use about the same amount of pressure to test a ripeness of a tomato, and we're very specific with that. Like I said, it's very gentle. So when we find an area of stress in the spine, what we'll do is usually we'll use our pinky, and we'll just place it in that area of stress, and we'll just apply slight pressure, about the same pressure that you would lay your finger on a stick of butter, and you would just let it melt. That's how simple and gentle it is. With the scans, we're able to be very specific on what is going on and how we can help these kids. Now, it's very important with these kids, since they're in their prime development, they're making more neurological connections in that first couple of years span than you will your entire life. And so it's very easy to overwhelm these kids. So we don't do a whole lot. We want to make sure that that stressed baby isn't going to have all this input that's going to make it more stress. And we want to bring the ease and calmness back into the system so that baby can grow and develop the way it's supposed to. Now, if you have any questions, I'm going to stick around for about 30 minutes, so feel free to comment below. I'll be sure to answer any questions. If not, send us an email at office@rootandbloomchiro.com. Bye, guys.